strange? Isn't that strange that we're going live in the middle of a day on a Wednesday? Isn't that a little strange there?
No, Darren. No,
Seems a
it's
little
Saturday.
strange.
It's Saturday.
Every day's Saturday when you're doing power apps all day, right?
Every day's Saturday. That's why we're doing live streams every day.
We should.
We should.
What do you think, guys? I didn't announce this. I didn't schedule it. We'll see if people, maybe YouTube will email you guys, let you know that we just went live. I probably should have made a post out in school and let everybody know. But you guys can always go back and watch this. But today we're going to be looking at a more detailed view, or shall I say, an extended view of the modern controls that we haven't covered yet, because there's quite a few of them, Kurt, aren't there?
Yeah, there are.
So let's look at this. We've talked about the button, the slider, the link, progress bar, tab. We've talked about it, a lot of these, and some of them we covered in one of our last live streams. But if you guys aren't familiar with the personal pocket coaching that we've released, it's actually pretty exciting if you think about it. Wouldn't you say, Kurt?
Absolutely.
So let's just take a look at this real quick, because over in the personal pocket coaching, we call it personal pocket coaching, because these are little bite-sized 5 or 10 minute little videos that you can, look at in your every day in your email inbox and open them up. So animation and power apps. This was one that you did, Kurt. I think we released this Christmas Eve. So do we release videos every single day of the year? Is that what we're doing here?
Every day.
Sort of looks like it, doesn't it?
And so, I love this, the pocket, the personal pocket, little bite-sized, little tater tots in your pocket. Just think about that. Tater tots in your pocket.
You guys remember what movie was that? Napoleon Dynamite, and he put the tater tots in his pocket. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" So if you go over, you guys are probably all a part of the community, and if you're not, well, you should be, because it's free. Yeah. And the link is at the very top of the screen. And Kurt, I did spell it right this time. Okay, so one of the links was misspelled.
This community is the internet's best kept secret if you're a Power Apps person. So
absolutely. Just saying. At the very top right now, I have personal pocket coaching. Look at these topics. Okay, I talk a little bit about the thing. Now I'm extending the discount 50% off for the new year. Okay. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it at that price, but check this out, Kurt. I'm offering 3 bonuses. Okay, so the first one is my Ultimate Jumpstart Kit. Is that like a big deal? Would you find that very valuable in doing Power Apps?
But it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah. So I sell that for $250. It saves me tons of time. Now the full ticketing system course, it took me months to do. It's over 35 videos and over 40 hours of video instruction of how to build and I started selling it at $1,000.
Well, if you don't,
I'm going to include it as a bonus. What's that?
I just want to talk on top of you a little bit.
Sure.
If you don't mind me backing up just a little bit, I just want to talk about that jumpstart. Consider this, guys.
Okay.
Consider your freelancing, and you get a job, and you're starting this job from scratch, and you have this jumpstart kit, and you're out there, you've got a quote for, like, I don't know, $5,000 to get this project done, and you're starting off. You use that jumpstart kit. That right there is taking 1/3, probably at least 1/3 of the time away of developing screens and developing colors and dealing with users and menus. It's taking 1/3 of that time away. You don't have it's a great way to optimize the amount of time that you need to deal with interfaces, so that way you can spend most of your time making your program work, and it's going to increase your time from 0 to hero when you deliver this thing, and it's going to make it look beautiful. So that thing right there, you probably could, I don't know, it's $250, but you could probably charge, $500 just for putting that in, dropping it in, and you're including it, right?
Yeah, and I charge $500 for this on Fiverr when people want an app, just the application shell. I'll spend 2 hours to customize it for the organization using their style guide or whatever direction that they give me. Of course, I was playing around creating a new, like an obnoxious theme. So you see blues and reds there, but you
I
can
like it.
create some very beautiful looking styles here. Let me try to pull up one of the better looking ones. I think I flipped through some of them here. So let me go to this one and hit play here. So that's one of the better looking ones.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different colors. So it has the dynamic theming. It's got a weight spinner, much better than even they have a modern control spinner. I think it looks a lot better than that.
More
And
flexibility.
yeah, it's much more flexible. So if you're serious about your powerhouse house, if you just want, this is just a little hobby and it's not that big of a deal, then maybe it's not important. But you know, as a bonus, you're not charged any more for this. You get this along with it as a bonus. So a header. So the modern controls, they have a header. I think mine's actually still better than theirs, but I don't think Microsoft is trying to make the very best banner control out there. Just one that's sort of functional, you know, and that's how they did it back in the day, right? With VB6, all these other third-party companies would create controls like a data grid control or a menu control that would be better, and Microsoft would just put things out there that wouldn't really compete with those things that people were putting a lot of time into, right? But it's got the menu component. It's got built-in security groups. It's got debugging features. There's a lot of good code in the app on start, and it's got deep linking already. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and I'm sort of thankful that you brought that up because I sort of it's been out there for a while and I use it so much. I just think everybody's using it and everybody's not using it. Maybe they're not even aware of it. You
Well,
get it as a
well, Darren, there's not a lot you do that excites me, but when you really excite me, you really, really, really excite me. No, I'm teasing. That's just no. This was really good, man. This is amazing right here. And if you want rapid application development, which is the whole purpose of Power Apps, well, it just takes that and puts it on steroids now, right?
So I see we've got a few people out there. So hello from Orlando, Florida, guys. I see we've got some live people, and Kurt's up in Illinois. But on top of that, the ticketing system course, I was selling for 1,000. I think right now you can get it for 500. I think is the price that my marketing department, my wife, has it listed for right now. It comes as a bonus, and then you get a half-hour tutoring session with Darren and Kurt. That's in there too. You get those 3 bonuses. Now, how much is it? Now, if you buy it the annual, see, if you purchase the year up front, okay, so we're talking about the annual. What's in the annual? Well, you get a bite-sized pocket video on Power Apps every day of the year, okay, for $447, and that's 50% off. But, if you want to pay for it monthly, what does it come out to? Right now, it's just $47 a month, and you get these each and every day. If you're an accelerator student, I've had quite a few accelerator students purchase it. They get 75% off. But look at all these different topics that are covered. So if I go back over to the classroom, click on Personal Pocket Coaching. Okay, you got animation and Power Apps. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We talk about some of the modern controls. Actually, I think it might have been Christmas Eve or right before Christmas. We talked about these. Now, I actually showed these as like examples of what we might cover in the Personal Pocket Coaching. And I didn't make them one of the days because if you saw that, then you've already seen them. So I just threw them in here. And then the second one was actually the modern button control. We spent 10 minutes looking at that. We get the slider control in there. And so there's all these, there's the progress control. And then Kurt, you made a great video about the distinct function. And you also talked about your app being sort of like a DBMS. What's a DBMS?
Yeah, database management system. So the thing I like about this Personal Pocket Coaching is that sometimes we can go off on some philosophical things, the philosophy behind programming, the way, the mindset that you have when you go into programming.
Yeah.
It's more than just looking at a video and seeing how a button works or seeing how the patch function works. There's a methodology that you go, a mindset, a philosophy that you use while you're looking at these stuff, while you're programming. So that way, you know why you're putting that stuff up there. I just believe it makes you a better programmer. So we get to go off on some of these little tangents like that, where we consider your app being a relational database management system. I think it's really important to think about that.
Yeah, I liked what you did with that video. And we do have a transcription of everything that's covered. So you can search at the top and find all kinds of videos and content that's related to what you're looking for. You did an excellent video on the lookup function. And what we do is we're adding chapters in here. So you got chapters. And Kurt, you do a good job of stepping through this lookup function. Sometimes it takes 2 parameters, sometimes it takes 3, and it will return different things based on if you give it 2 or 3 parameters, right?
Right.
And I love the examples that you use. You got like a little lab almost that sort of goes through what you're covering there.
Yeah.
And that was in December. You already got a few. So if you sign up the annual, you'll get access to this course, and you can watch them, into the past, and you'll get all the new ones as well, of course. New Year's Day, while I was up there visiting with you, on the first, I went through building an app that will keep track of all your New Year's resolutions. Talked about naming variables. And look at today. We talked about using an Excel as a data source. And it took us 10 minutes to tell you not to.
And it could have taken us a lot longer. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, there's so much I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, we talked about all the pros and the cons and all that jazz. So just wanted to mention that because I think you guys would be really interested in this stuff here. Okay. So I believe the last thing, if I'm looking at it, the last modern control we covered was the modern progress control. So let's go find the progress bar. There we go. Now we do have a tabless control. Now we've talked about this once or twice. And what we try to do on one of these Saturday morning live streams is we took this and tried to create a component out of it. And by golly, I think that we've got a fix for it, because if you watch the whole thing at the end, I was sort of struggling with getting whichever one that whatever screen that you were on. We're using it as a menu. And so if you want to know more about that, I would check that one out. And I need to do a follow-up on that particular video and show you how to get the right tab to show up based on what screen you're on. Okay. So that's out there. And just sort of not to leave you guys hanging that, if you guys want to know more about that, let me open up my book bar and let's go to YouTube and see what comes up here. Oh, look at that. Boom. And then we'll mute these guys. I'm going to go to the live streams on the channel. Okay. All about modern controls, and then essential tips for modern controls and user-friendly design. And I think it might have been this one here. Unless you remember. No, we didn't. We didn't cover that Saturday. It was probably the one.
It was 2 Saturdays ago.
Yeah, so it must be this. Probably more on the end, like the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We're trying to create a menu out of that. So if you want to see more, material, go watch that one. So I'd let you guys know about that. So what other things do we have here? So, tablets. What about a badge? Now we've talked about this at some point, but a badge. Have you ever had somebody's initials show up, and you wanted that to be shown instead of a photo because maybe people don't upload their photos? You could use that. And I believe somewhere we're using a gallery. See, we used a badge here. And if you look at it for the content, what did we use for these two different?
We were just talking about a person's name.
Yeah. So we used the user.full name. We did a split. and the concat can work on a like a table or a single column table that we did with the split. And then for each of those, we took the left. Okay. So let's say they've got two middle names. So you're gonna see what, four different letters there. So that's nice. Who was it? Minty or someone provided that code as opposed to this code, which is the code that I came up with. So it just goes to show you, not no one man knows it all. I could create code that I think is good, and somebody come along, it's like, actually, it's shorter and more efficient and better if you do it a different way. What do you think about that, Kurt?
I like both versions of it. I like
Yeah.
both of them. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the badge control. We talked about the checkbox, the combo box, the date picker, drop down. And then we've got this screen over here where I was playing with the form control. Okay. Now this is just a regular list box control. We could have used a gallery, and we set up this form. It works very similarly to the classic form control, but you know what? This form control looks a little nicer to me. Okay. Maybe not. It's maybe not so blocky and clunky, but it seems to work just the same way, where you've got a new form, edit form, submit form. You have all those functions that you can use.
Yeah, I almost want to use this form.
Really?
It makes me almost want to use it. It just seems more elegant, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's sort of step through and see what we can do here. Let's make this a save button. Okay. And we have on select, it says edit form. I don't know that that's what we want there, though. We probably want to submit it. And I'm sure the form is called form 1. There we go. Probably should have given it a better name. All right, so let's see what we have. We have a Silverado, and down here it's bringing up the model. So I'm going to say Silverado 1. I'm going to save it and see if it actually changes that up here. Look at that. We had some champagne bubbles go across. Now, something that might be a good thing to do is, after submit, we could then say edit form 1. Okay. If I go to this E class and I say 2 and hit save, it's like, okay, this is different. So I don't normally use list controls very much, and I don't think a lot of people use the list box control very much either. I mean, if you're gonna have a listing like this, typically people will use a drop down list or a gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with a gallery, it would have kept one of them selected, but it seems like it took it completely out. Now, I wonder if we could set up a default property for this list box. Okay, we do have a default.
Mm-hmm.
And what we could do, let's do something interesting here. We can say form 1 dot last submit. Does it like that? It doesn't like that.
Maybe you got to put a dot there. Yeah.
So the dot, that should give us a record, and you would think that the list box is looking for a record. Okay. Now, what exactly is the data source of this list box? Well, I didn't mean to replace that. Hold on. Let me cut that out and hit Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Oh my goodness, look at this. Control Z is working. Okay. So there's the default. I'll put in there last submit. It does not like that. Let's go look at the data source. Items is card datas. Now I wonder if the default. So I'm learning something a little bit about the list control. Now the list control is not a modern control. In fact, if we go over here, I do not see. If I do a search here, list, we have a tab list, but no list control. I I think maybe it might be looking for the text, not the actual record. So I'm going to say car model, and that might give us what we need. Okay. So it's a Silverado 1 E-Class 2. Let's go golf. We'll say 3. Okay, it put 3 there, but it didn't. It's like now if I clicked on it, it worked. So these are just some weird things that if you're going to be using the list box, you're going to have to sort of navigate and figure out there. Do you have any thoughts to add to that, Kurt?
Well, I'm just wondering if you put that into a variable, that text into a variable, and just had it, and just drop that variable name in the defaults and see what it did.
Okay. So on the on select event, let's do that. Now let me ask you a question here, Kurt. Would you use a context variable or a local variable here? Or would you use a global?
I think I would use a context variable here.
Okay, which is
in
a
fact,
local, right?
In fact, I think I would use a context variable almost everywhere.
Really? When would you use a global then, if any?
There might be an instance where you need one value that you can't capture on a screen to go to other screens with, and maybe it's something like you wanted to create it when your program is initializing somehow. But apart from that, it's hard for me to find one. But there are times when it comes across where it just makes sense. But I use them very infrequently because there are a lot of maintenance behind it and a lot of potential errors happen with globals.
Yeah, what I find a lot of times you end up creating a problem where it ends up being a bug for you. And a lot of times when you're dealing with these variables, it only has to do with what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
So if you got 20 screens, why would you have something sit out there that doesn't have to do anything with 19 other screens, right?
It's a common thing though, because a lot of people like to use globals just out of pure, maybe can I say laziness? Just because it's just easier to throw it in there. You don't have to worry about moving it from screen to screen,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so I did what you said. I threw this thing into a local variable, and they click on it, and then we do an edit form. So now I can use that variable. What do you want me to do with that variable?
Now put that in the defaults. I was actually thinking about updating that context in the save button, and then that way, and then put that variable in the defaults property of the gallery.
Okay. So let's say right before that submit form.
Yeah.
So you don't want it on the selection there, right?
No, because I want that to be pre-selected, right? You want the default before they select anything, right?
Okay. So I'm going to cut that out. And then in this button here.
And I don't know if this is going to work, but I just wanted to try it once to see.
Yeah. For some reason, it doesn't like it. Incompatible type, we can't evaluate your phone because the context variable types are incompatible types of values in other places. Well, that can't be possible because I just completely took it out of the other place. Question is there any other? If I go over here to the side, we've got this thing here called variables. We could search. Okay, there's context variables, screen 5. It's only in one place, and it's right here. Or I can go down to this search, and I can do a search for it there, and it should go project wide. Okay, so we are on screen 5. What's going on here?
It's never easy.
Indirect uses. Okay. Nothing's ever easy, is it?
It's just never.
All right, so we're gonna get see the self dot selected.
That's why. That's
what's
why.
going on. List box 2.
I hate when I do.
Why didn't you catch that, Kurt?
I should have caught it.
All right, so now we're going to use this local variable that you told me to create. And what are we going to do with that local variable?
We're going to throw that in the defaults property of the list box.
Okay. Go find default.
Maybe that's what's going to happen here.
Right there. Okay. So I'm going to go to the Civic. I want to say Civic 11. Hit save. It selected 3.
But it didn't do
And
send
then-
11.
And then the 11 changed. So it was like, no, I don't want that one. So the list
Yeah.
box has a multiple selection deal going on. Isn't that interesting?
Right. I got a little bit. I got a little bit extra for my money on that one, didn't I?
You sure did.
That's what you get
All
when
right.
you fly by the seat of your pants, man.
Yeah. So you got us in this mess. You going to get us out?
Sure.
Well,
so what we want is go back to that. Go back.
go back where? Where do you want me to go?
That update context. We want that to be not the list box value. You want it to be the text. Where did you input that at?
In the form.
In the form. Yes. So it's going to be the form text value that you created.
It's this little text box down here. And the name of that text box is data card value 8.
This is why I really dislike forms. Because sometimes
tell me about it. What do you mean by that? Because
you got to dig through 3 levels of stuff to get to the text to the name. Don't get me whining. I'm going to start whining here a little bit.
I like it.
Is it value? Data card value? Is that it? Is that what you do?
Well, Kurt, it's a modern control. You know, the classic controls had .text. The modern ones have .value. Isn't that something?
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Golf
5.
Golf S. Golf 5. Okay. Golf 5. Boom. I hit save. What happened there, Kurt?
We don't have bubbles going.
We don't have a what?
We don't have the bubbles going across or nothing. Huh.
And no air.
That didn't work the way I wanted.
I sort of want to see what's in there. It's a control.
Data card dot value. Okay, inside
Maybe
that data card.
Mess up, Kurt. Maybe I did mess up. Text. It doesn't like text.
I'm thinking there's an input box inside that data card that you need to get to, sir. That's what I think.
Really? Have you ever transcended space and time, Kurt?
Go into the car model, text input, data card 8.
Do you see that? That's a text. That's a text entry.
It is. It is.
Okay.
Dot text. Dot.
Okay. So there's that. That is a text box. And then I say dot. I'm watching the chat. Usually on Saturday mornings, we got the whole peanut crowd going.
Do this. Do this. Well, it says value right there, Darren.
Mm-hmm. You think I should do value again? So that it told me that was a control.
Okay, now
but here it says text.
Yeah.
And there is no dot nothing. Well, let's just try it one more time. I'm going to click on golf. I want to say golf 5. Save.
Okay.
I almost want to put a label here that shows us what the value of that local variable is. I'm going to go over here, the classic, bring over a label. Okay. And then we'll put in here that, no, we're doing a local selected. It says golf 5.
Says golf 5.
And I double click on it and it's a text. Now, where's golf 5? Why isn't golf 5 selected?
Is golf 5 in there?
Where is golf 5? Almost want to do a distinct on this. Yeah. And it's not sorted right.
No, just do a distinct. Now we have to go through this. See, this is what I love doing live streams with you, Darren, because we start off with one objective and we end up
finding one who got me going down this road.
Yeah, I said, can we just try one thing?
Just one thing. We'll just take 2 minutes, maybe even 30 seconds.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, look at how much it cleaned that up, Kurt. I like that.
Very nice.
That was a great idea. Now, do you like to use sort?
I do.
Yeah. Do we use value or do we use
sort of ascending?
Oh, you want to do ascending?
Oh no, that's fine. Value's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
It's
by
beautiful.
default it's ascending, but we could
Yeah.
go descending if you want. Okay,
Nope, that's beautiful.
so we got a Golf 3, and I'm clicking on Golf 3,
We
which
didn't have a
could be representing 20 different cars.
Golf 5. So let's put one in there
Yeah,
now.
did it not save it?
Must not have. Let's go. Let's try it again here. Now that we got this list cleaned up.
No, this isn't working anymore, Kurt. Now that we did the distinct,
What'd you do?
we've gone down some rabbit holes here, man. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do a lookup
Dot value.
to go find a form can only modify one record. One. Do a lookup and we'll say cars data or car datas. Okay.
Now,
And
could I have
we
done a
wanna-
lookup on Form 1? Could I have done it that way too? I'm just wondering if,
a lookup on the form?
well, because the form's attached, it's binded, it's bounded to the table, right? So can I do that? I've never used
A
the form.
table only works with one record. Now, if you're talking about the list box, we can work with multiple stuff.
Got it.
And that's actually, I mean, I'm looking at the data that the list box is
Okay.
bound to.
So the form can only handle one record.
So I'm going to say car model equals whatever selected dot value. Okay.
Okay.
And that's going to give us a record, which
Yep.
is what the list box is looking for.
There it is.
So, Kurt, if we do a lookup and there were 5 records that met that criteria, do we get 5 records? Oh, we only get 1. Okay.
Correct.
Which one?
The first one.
The first one it finds. That's right. So this is it. Okay. I'm going to go down here to the golf. Make sure our fat heads don't do anything here to cover this up. Oh, I found out a cool thing over here. What did I do the other day? Browser. There's something where it took up more of the whole screen. What did I do? Browser. Nah, never mind. I did something that made it took out all this all the space around. I wish it would zoom in because I like to show you guys more of the screen. All right, I'm going to hit Golf 5 this time. Okay, it changed it Golf 5.
And it put it. Did it give us the default?
Nothing is selected here, Kurt. Nothing is selected.
So you need to select. Maybe we need to do a select on that.
Well, that's what we're trying to do with this selected. So the selected is a string called Golf 5. Okay.
Right. But nothing's selected. Maybe we need to do a select function on that gallery, sir.
You mean list box?
I mean, list box. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we
I
can try
use
that.
gallery so much. And list box used to be my favorite control. And now it's always gallery now.
All right. You want to do a select. Now, if you're going to bring this up for us to use, you need to tell our viewers what the select function does.
So that's going to perform the same thing as if you went over there and clicked it. Because if you do a click with your mouse, it's going to perform the on select event. This is going to perform that on select event of that list box. You can only put that item, the list box, in there. That the parameter has to be something that has an on select event property.
So would you say that simulates a click or a selection? So it's gonna fire the event property of the list box called. You can find them all because they all start with on. We have an on change and an on select. So it's gonna fire whatever code's in. What's in there? It's got an edit form.
Now let's see what it's going to do to us.
Huh?
Let's see what that's going to do to us in the next few minutes here.
Okay, I'm gonna cross my fingers because I don't have faith this is gonna happen.
I don't know. I'm just trying stuff here.
Impreza 2. Dude, I thought that was a waste of time, Kurt. I would have never tried that because it makes no sense to me.
Genius.
Kurt, you're not always right, but when you're right, man, you're really right.
And with that, I have to go there.
No, you don't.
I don't want
don't
to.
you?
I really don't want to. I can do this all day. I love this stuff. It's Saturday here.
Well, you know what? If whatever you got going on in soon, or you need my help with whatever you're doing, reach out to me. But I think I'm gonna hang out here, and it looks
Okay.
like we've got a handful of people watching. I don't see them in the chat talking to me, but maybe they will once you leave. Maybe they don't like you. They only like me.
Oh, that breaks my heart. Don't even say that. Okay, everybody. I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. All right, man. Hang out with you later. All right, guys. So he really surprised me there. I did not think that was good. Let me try this out. Mustang. I'm going to go in here and say Mustang GT. I used to have a lot of Mustangs. Really like, oh my goodness, it worked. It's not only do we have a Mustang, but then we have a Mustang GT. That's pretty cool. I'm learning stuff here. That's pretty cool. And we got the contents of the variable. Let's take a look at this Copilot. You guys interested in that? So this Copilot control is really interesting. Okay. So if we go and try to add this Copilot control, you click on Classic. Look at this Copilot Preview. It's right there, Copilot Preview. You go over to the Modern Controls, Copilot Preview at the bottom. I believe, I'm like 99% sure, these are the exact same control. This is control right here. You can bring them both on the screen at the same time, and they're going to look very similar. Okay. All right. So, what have I done with this Copilot control? So I set it to look at of course it works with Dataverse. Okay. So the second parameter that I had here was the view or the criterion which you want to filter it. So I gave it the name of a view that you can set up within Dataverse. Okay, so it's just going to give me all the active cards. It's probably the exact same amount of records and the same data. But if I want to ask a question about the data, maybe I don't want to see the inactive records. Okay, so let's just ask what's going on here. What type of data is in this table? Okay, what type of data is it? Let's see if it and sometimes you get some not so great answers. Okay. The table contains data within one row. The column name contains the string data, and the column created on contains date time data in UTC format. And UTC is universal time something. If you guys know, let me know in the chat here. The value in the name column is 1000, and the value in the created on column is 71. Okay. So I must have created that on July 1st. Okay. So I'm going to go back into the design mode and take a look at this control here. What exactly did I do? So you can specify the data source and the view. You can go into fields. What happens when I click on fields? It selected content language. That is very unexpected and weird, to be honest. So I'm going to click on edit here to the side. Nick Fury from the Avengers. I'm watching on YouTube. So what are we having today? Nick Fury, I'd like to say we're saving the world with the Avengers, but what we're doing is we're taking a look at these modern controls that Microsoft gave us. Okay. So thanks for interacting here with me when Kurt had to go take care of something. So I don't feel so alone. So yeah, we're taking a look at the modern control. Specifically, in this case, we're looking at the Copilot control. Okay. So we're doing a little bit of AI work here. So these are all the fields. So if I take out all these fields, it is my contention that probably the answers that it's going to give to our questions is just going to be based on the fields that we told it to look at. Okay. And so there's a title. It says my title. Well, if I get rid of this thing and look, okay, let's see what that gives us here. Maybe zoom out a little more. My title. I do not see anything that says my title. So I don't know why it's why there's a place for title if it's not going to use it. But we do have an introductory message. And what I'm going to do is say, here's the intro message. Okay. And over here, the placeholder text, I'm going to say placeholder text. Okay. And I'm going to run this and let's see if anything shows up here. Okay. And I'm just not seeing it. Now, if I click on this reset, you see the little reset button in the upper right corner? I'm going to hit that. Let's see what's going on here. See if it refreshes things. Sorry, I don't know that one yet, but I'm always learning. So this is the type of stuff that I don't know that it's using. I wish it would allow me to use my GBT4 Turbo, and I'm gonna give it a thumbs down on that one. I don't like it. Of course, it's gonna want to give us provide more feedback and such. So let's go in here. I'm not seeing anything on the title, introductory message, so on and so forth. Now, I wonder if I were to publish this, what screen am I on here? This is screen 5. So if I go into the app, start screen, and make this screen 5, okay, that should be the very first one it selects if I were to publish this. So I'm going to do that, and I want to see what comes up here. Okay, these tabs around. Publish the version. And guys, it takes a few minutes. When you publish something, it takes a few minutes for it to sort of go out there. Okay. So there's the exploring modern controls. And instead of clicking on this link, I'm going to click on the run button here, which should run it as a user. Okay. And let me get rid of this overlay at the top so you can see more. Okay. All right. So here we are. Look, here's the intro message. Here's the intro message. So it uses it twice. And here's the intro message. So it used that 3 times. It's a little odd, huh? Okay. So if I click on the control intro message, I was sort of hoping it would say placeholder text somewhere. And I was hoping to see my title somewhere. And I don't see that, guys. Now, if I go up to the top, go over to advanced, I do have an on change event and an on select event. Okay. So those are pretty much the properties I see for this. Now, what I would expect it now, man, it really put it up there pretty far, didn't it? Let me change this around to like a phone layout and move this around a little bit. Okay, yeah, this is a little weird. Try to run it again, and it still wants to put it to the top of the screen. Okay. Well, now I can put my face here and it won't matter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what can you tell me about that Mustang GT? Okay. Look at that. 1008. Is that true? Yeah, there is the name. So it's sort of using it as an ID. Now in Dataverse, it may make you believe that the name is the primary key. It is not. It always creates a column name with the same name as the table name. Okay. So this table name is called car data or car datas. It tries to pluralize your table name. And then it creates a column with the same name as the table. And it's going to be a GUID, GUID, a globally unique identifier. And that is truly the primary key for any records within a Dataverse database table. Okay. There might be an index set up on name. And what's strange, this has been set up as a numeric value, but it's not numeric. It's actually a string. Okay. If we started off with 1, it would be 0001. Okay, but I'm sort of happy with what it said there. Okay, what is the mileage of that car? Okay, if you could give me good answers instead of like, sorry, I don't know what to do, then this becomes more and more valuable and interesting here. There are more than 30 cars in the data set. Now, I was just talking to this co-pilot about a specific car. There's only one car in here called a Mustang GT. The top 30 cars have mileage ranging. So I would say a thumbs down on that. Of course, it's going to want me to provide more information. So, guys, I think that this control, although I'm sort of excited about it, it's going to be great. It's not great yet. Okay. You may not want to use this control yet, or just put out there and just tell the users, like, hey, it may be useful, but over time, I'm sure that they will be, and I've seen improvements in it. I've played around with it here and there, and it used to be to give me an error every single time. So now it's actually talking with me. So you see proof of it improving, which is nice. Okay, so we've been working with the new form control. We've worked with the co-pilot control there, and something that I don't cover very often. You don't really hear too much about is the list box control. So if you go over here and say list box, it almost looks like a gallery, but it in fact is just it just displays one field of data. It's sort of like a drop down list, but you see the whole list with a scroll bar. So just wanted to let you guys know what that was since I was playing around with that. And so there's the badge control. We talked about that at the beginning of the live stream. Let's go in and talk about some more of these here. Okay. So there's the form. Here's the head. This is what the header control looks like. Now I'm going to move these things around a little bit. Okay. Personally, I like my own header control that I use in my application template that I call the Jumpstart Kit. Okay. And Nick Fury agrees with me, guys. By the way, it's going to be great. Hopefully, by the way, to use this control, are we needed to be? Oh, do we need to subscribe to Copilot? That I'm not sure. I know inside of my tenant here, I've tried to turn on all the AI features. Okay, and I am in the United States, and I think they were releasing it to the United States first, perhaps. So um, I know some of the other YouTubers that cover Power Apps, they had access to the stuff way before I did. So I'd be interested in hearing back from you, Nick, to see if do you see it? Okay, so just in case you guys don't see the modern controls, if you go into settings here, modern controls and themes, make sure you select this. This is on the general tab of the settings and not upcoming features. Okay. So just to let you know that's there. So if you don't see them, turn this on. Okay. Now I'll just go ahead and show you one more thing. If you guys have access to manage the environments that you're in, you go to that little sprocket at the top. Okay, let me move things around so you guys can see things better. And go to admin center. You may or may not see that if you're not an admin of your tenant, you may not see it. But you could go over to the cubicle of the guy that does manage it, like, hey, click on that sprocket there. Hey, yeah, go in here. Hey, go in and click on my environment. So I'm gonna sort this and go look at my sandbox environment. And then I'm gonna go into let's go settings. I'll go into product. I'll go click on behavior. Okay. Now there used to be a lot more settings in there. I think they're moving the settings around quite a bit. Autosave. Um, okay. I am going to go back to settings and I'm going to look at features. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Look, you have an AI builder, which is separate than the Copilot, but does have the word or the acronym AI there. Oh, look, Copilot. Yeah, make sure that's on. There you go. So Nick, hopefully, if you don't see it, that might be helpful there. So I can click on learn more. Okay. So this was put in November 17th. And you guys, there might be some people watching this video months from now and they're like, oh, yeah, everybody has access to it. So, Nick, I hope you have access to it. And if you don't, I hope you get it soon. Okay. So this header control is fairly simple and straightforward, if I may say so. Okay. You can tie into the themes. Okay. We only have 6 themes to pick from here on the modern theming. And you can tie into that. So I can say neutral, I can say light, but I have that green color. So if I go with orange, boom. I think I do like the primary. I do like my headers to have like a darker color. Yeah. Nick's gonna look at it later. Very cool. Okay, let's go up here to insert modern. Um, the header, there's an information button. This is probably not much to look at or consider, but you're seeing these more and more where let's say we've got a might have a text input control, okay, like enter some information, and then you could have a modern label. I'm sure we have a label or something somewhere here. Link. Da, 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 da. Guys, am I missing it? Oh, text. You have text and text input. There we go. So you've got a little thing here, and you could put a little information button right beside it. Okay. And then when somebody hovers over this, I think I've just clicked on the label. Let's click on the information thing here. Info button, content, icon size, medium. Well, okay, so we made that larger. Okay, it was not that much larger, is it? Yeah. All right. Accessible label. Access label. Okay, so if I run this and I hover, oh, look, it changes colors when I go over it. And I click on it, there's the information. I sort of like it. Yeah, these modern controls are pretty cool. When they first came out, there were a lot of missing features. Um, so that I could see how that would be useful. Okay, so there's the new text input. There's the new label that they're just calling text. And one thing, if you guys don't mind me jumping back to the header control, you're able to say, okay, here's the logo. If you want to specify a logo, um, the title. So it says Screen 6. By default, it's going to show the app.activescreen.name. You could actually put your application name there if you'd like, along with that. So I could say Darren's app. Okay. So you got some flexibility. Although I don't know why it's sort of shoving the app up into the top there. I bet you if I backed out and came back in, it would probably be fixed. So I'm going to leave that and then come back in. Let's try it out. And while that's going, I had something for you guys here. You guys ready? You're getting anything helpful out of this, a comment or even a like really helps the channel and lets people like you know this is good content. Much appreciated. Yeah, so we go back to this. Let me hit run and see it's fixed now. See what it's like to sort of back out of the program and come back in. It's sort of like rebooting your computer, right? Right. So, yeah, if you play around with this header control, you can. There's the logo properties, and you got the profile photo. Well, my head's in the way, isn't it? Okay, see that profile photo? I'm sorry, picture. I can toggle it off and it disappears. Okay. So those are the three things that you want to work with while working with the header control. Okay. What else do we have here? Let's insert. We do have a checkbox. Okay. Now, instead of value, which is what we're used to seeing, it's now called checked. Checked. So made that true. And it pulls in the styling from this new theme. Okay. That looks nice. I sort of like it. Now, if we were to pull over the checkbox from over here, look at how big and clunky this thing looks. And typically, when you click on it, there's usually an outline around it. Maybe they changed it and took that out, but yeah, it looks a little nicer than that. Okay. We do have a combo box. Yeah, we could tie into an actual data source here. So we could say car datas. Okay. And then views, we could look at all the active cars. And for the fields, yeah, let's just have the name. Now, the name for the cars, they're just going to be numbers because that's how they set up that database table. Okay. So when I clicked on this, notice what it did? It took a moment and then it listed off all these items here. Okay. Now we could change that. I don't know why we need created on in there. So I'm going to take both of those out and I'll add a field for the model. Okay. The model. Okay. Now it's not using distinct like we used in the list box a few minutes ago. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like, what it feels like, being the modern control. It looks a little more sleek. And then let's check out the drop down list and put it right beside it. Okay, use the same thing, car data. And for the fields, let's take these two out and let's put the model in there. Okay. Does pop up faster than the combo box does. Okay. Now, the date picker is a huge improvement, if I may say so myself, over the big and clunky date picker that we've had in the past. So if I go over to classic and say date, okay, you guys will probably remember, look at this. It's got a green color. Well, I changed this over to orange, didn't I? So these classic controls, they will sort of tie into whatever classic theme you had before. Okay. Now, notice with the classic, I click on the 18th of January. Okay. And the user might think it's the 18th. And then they click off. And look, it still says 1-3. Does this do the same thing? I click on 18. No, it disappears and it's changed. Guys, that's so much better. And it doesn't have some big solid color like up here. A lot of people they'll have the default theme, that blue theme, and it clashes with the rest of their colors. So this theming that Microsoft provides, both the classic and the new, it is an improvement, the modern theming, but it still doesn't give us much to work with. I hope that they really expand that and allow us to define our own theming because right now we just have six. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down here. I say six is a small amount of themes. Please allow us to create or define custom themes. Thanks. Send. Now, something you'll notice I don't have a thumbs up and thumbs down. So maybe I only have one opportunity. No, it still has it there. On some of these controls, when I click on them, you'll see this up and down thumb. And in other cases, you don't see it. So let me bring over. Okay, so we did look at the form control. We looked at the header control. We looked at the information. Let's look at the radio. I would have to say the radio button looks so much nicer than the classic one. Okay. And just like the other one, I would presume that we could go horizontal with it. Yeah, you got layout vertical. Now my head's in the way. Okay, we can change it to be horizontal or horizontal stacked. Oh, well, that's interesting. I already like it much more than the classic one. Okay, let's see what other controls we have here. Spinner control. Now, I'm not too impressed with, and I do like out of the box, we do have a spinner control we can use. Okay, but even the size, we can say huge, and that is not, I would not define that as huge at all. I think that's actually funny that it's still that size with extra large. No. Okay. So we can make that appear or disappear. I would presume by using a visible property. So we do have a visible. Okay. Now the table control. I want to do a video just on the table control because I'm so excited about it. Let's create a new screen here. New screen. Let's bring over this table. Look at that. Now, I believe initially this control was only to be used with the Dataverse. And the other day I tried to hook it up to a SharePoint uh, data source and it worked great. Yeah, this is great. It tells you how many rows you have down there. Of course, I believe I think it only loads 1,000 at a time. So we have more. Well, you know what? I think I actually only have 1,000 because I used Makaru to go bring in 1,000 test records. So that might actually be 100% true. If I go into the settings, you guys should probably already know this. If I scroll down, it allows me to pull in more than 500. You can go as high as 2,000. Okay. And I can go over here to the data sources and I can refresh the data source. Okay. And it still says 1,000. So I think that's a good representation of how many that are in there. Now with this table control, we can go in and actually select more fields here. Okay, which you probably want. Okay, what all can we do with this table? Because this is exciting. Now we've always had this a table. Um, yeah, look at all this data. Can we sort on this? Maybe we have to set up a property to allow us to. Okay, and let's see that allow range selection. I'm going to scroll down. I don't see anything on sorting or filtering on individual um, columns, but I would imagine they might add that because I think this is just the beginning. And I wonder if I can go in and, for these first, like I don't need a big long width here. Okay. Oh, look, it does have sorting built in. So you see this upward arrow? I click on it again, click on the arrow maybe. There's got to be a way to change that. I don't see a way of doing that. Used to we had a over Classic, we had a table a data table. And you see that it says preview? It said it has says it has said preview for years. Okay, so the preview of this data table looks like this. Cut that out. And it's just not as nice as this new one. Okay. Where you can actually select a column and change the width. That's what I was sort of looking for, this new table. So it looks like they've got a look. Oh, there it sort of it did. It's sort of sized up. That's very nice. I like that. I still want to have more control over this. Okay. It looks nice, guys. I really like it. Really like it. All right, let's go over here. So we've got the table, we got the text. Now that's like a label. The text input, we've looked at that. A toggle. Toggle's the last one we have to look at here. Let's go to a different screen where we got some data. Okay, so here we go. At least some other controls. And I'm going to bring over the toggle. Now, how does this differ from the other toggle? Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be smaller. Is it better? Let's look at the properties here. Well, it can tie into the new theming. Okay, so that's a plus. And it doesn't have a value property, it has a checked property. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're going to start using that. The label position before, above. Oh, we weren't able to do that with the classic one. That's sort of nice. So it's giving us some more options there. And in the classic toggle, we have a true text and a false text. Where here we just have a label. Okay, new value. I like that. New value. And then you could put an if statement in there and then change it based on um, the value. So I'm keeping an eye on the comments. If you guys want me to demo that, I can. But many of you probably already know how to do that type of stuff. So we could tie into the new theming there. Over on advanced display mode, height, visible. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to that toggle control. And of course, this spinner is a little in my way there. So what do you guys think about all these new modern controls? So, guys, if you're not a part of my free community that I run, so if you guys have questions about Power Apps, that's my passion in life, to help people on their Power Apps and Power Platform journey, their progress. Let me share with you guys. I do have an overlay that will help you guys out. That will actually link you to the free community over there. Now, I do have a free crash course for Power Apps. So if you guys haven't seen that, head over there and I will show you a little bit about that. So if you go here, and at the beginning of this live stream, I did talk about the personal pocket coaching, and I'm running a sale on that. If you go over to community, it's this top topic here. You can do a search for personal pocket coaching. You'll see all the. I am running a 50% off sale for the New Year's. But guys, you can go in here and submit your questions, post videos, screenshots. It's much easier to help people with their Power Apps problems, other than a YouTube, comment. Right? There's a lot I can't do there. So, um, so there's that. Now, what I was going to tell you was there's a crash course. This is free. I used to sell it, but I'm giving away for free. Okay. I go over these things that I wish I had known right when I started learning Power Apps. And now I've got this whole app in a day. Now this isn't the Microsoft official curriculum. I think it's better. Okay. So if I close down these first few modules, and just show you this third module, you actually build out from scratch your own ticketing system. Okay. You guys know about the Microsoft's ticketing system here. So we take that as inspiration. A lot of people do like that one. and we make something that's that's quite better looking, if you ask me. Okay. Now, if we go to the last video, yeah, I'll show you what it looks like near the end here. Okay. So you learn how to make your, I would say like a small, but production quality, as I would define it, little app, and build it in a day or an afternoon. Okay. So guys, you might be wondering what video to watch next, and I'll tell you, because YouTube knows you probably better than I know you, or you know yourself, right? So check this out. For some reason, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video next. Let's see if they're right. Or you can select this playlist, which I've selected for you based on the content you're currently watching. Guys, gotta hurry, click one of them. Otherwise, YouTube's going to autoplay some other video, which you probably don't want.